right, welcome to Military History Chronicles. What's up, everyone? It's been a while since I've done this, a couple of weeks, I guess. That's about where I'm sitting right now is with everything that's going on. But appreciate you guys hanging out tonight here on a Friday night. Like you guys got nothing better to do on a Friday night to hear me talk about this kind of stuff, huh? Well, it is what it is. Let me go ahead. I'll just do a disclaimer right now, right? I don't care what party that you're affiliated with. I don't care about who you support, who you don't support. We're gonna just talk about what is being said and what is being done. Period. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, wherever you lean, we're gonna sit here and talk about what the heck's going on here. I hammered the Biden administration, and right now I'm hammering the Trump administration, and I have my reasons. You guys could choose to believe it. Hey, that's your prerogative. You guys want to believe a different way? That's fine. But I'm gonna try to stick with what is being said and what is being done, and then go from there, rather than just making conjecture, so to speak, right? Because that's all we can go on. So, just want to get that out there right now. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes or hurt anybody's feelings. I'm gonna say how I feel. Period. And look, if you guys want to chime in, more than happy. I'm not going to sit there and attack you. I may disagree, but I'm not going to come out here and attack you. That's not how I do my business. So anyways, I just like having this conversation. I think it's important to have. I think it's 100% important to have these types of conversations, because if that information isn't getting out there, then what the heck is the purpose of being in the United States of America and being able to get this stuff off your chest, right? Come on, man. Come on. And I'm kind of pissed off because my fantasy team sucks. So I'm really going to freaking hammer. No, I'm joking. Anyways, a lot of stuff. Again, every time I come on, I'm always, hey, there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about. That's kind of where we're at, aren't we? I don't understand. I get, the biggest news of the day, so to speak, right, is the whole debacle of the signal. Bad, not good, guys. You cannot be discussing national security stuff on an app. Look, the United States, they have an infrastructure that you could use securely, right? Cost some of this stuff costing millions of dollars, maybe even more, to be able to discuss these type of things. You don't do it over an app. I'm sorry. You just don't do that, guys. And I don't give a shit what the administration, the excuses, that's just what they are. They're excuses. Period. Stop. They're excuses. You do not conduct, especially when you're talking about an operation against a foe. You just don't do that. You just don't do that. Period. I don't know what made them do that stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. Some of the information that was shared is just, it's pretty incredulous, to be honest with you. Pretty damn incredulous. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on. We could spend a little bit now. If you guys have some thoughts that you want me to try to hit on. I mean, when you're in the positions that you are, you have to fulfill certain duties in the position that you're given, whether you've been appointed that position by the president and then confirmed by the Senate, or whether you're an elected official. You have quite a bit of power at your disposal, and you have a lot of information that that friends of the nation would absolutely love to get their hands on. And if you're not safeguarding that information, if you're not making the correct decisions, well, guess what? It could come back and bite you in the ass. In some cases, it could cost lives. It's very possible that American lives were put at risk with that information that was used over an unsecure app. Period. And I'm sorry. I know when I was in the Air Force, if anyone did anything like that, well, heads are going to roll. That's just what happened. That's the nature. You got to take responsibility to actions that you take. And then sometimes people lose their jobs. That's just what happens. And it's called having accountability. And I think we're missing a lot of that in the nation today. It's like you have to have this undying loyalty to whatever party it may be. Even if they did something wrong, you got to have their back. Even if they did something wrong. And that's not how things get done, guys. Sometimes you got to let people go. That's just that type of decision that was made to use an app like that to discuss this type of matters. You know, people need to lose their jobs. I mean, that's just the way it is. And, you know, it makes me wonder, you know, if you want to talk about some of these people, some of these people's, let's say their qualifications doesn't exactly really meet up to what the position that you got to fulfill. Just saying. It frustrates me, guys. It absolutely frustrates me when I see this kind of stuff that's going on. Aaron, yes, sir. You made a great point. It's a party over country. That's correct. Eric, I'm going to get into that. Yes, and that's the issue that we're having today in this country. Now, on both sides, right? It's both sides. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's just, it seems, and I said this before, accountability has just gone out the window. And that's not good for a country. When you have these type of things happening, it's almost like we're losing our moral compass. And once you lose your moral compass, what else do you have? And again, like I said, it doesn't matter which way you lean. You just can't support this type of stuff. And look, and I'm all for the operation. Okay. I'm all for, you got to knock out those Houthis. You have to. They're posing a threat to the region, not only to the region, but you're upsetting maritime travel. And that cannot happen. Period. It cannot happen. You got to be able to take care of that. What's really unique though is we've been hammering them now. How long has this operation been going on for? About a week now, and we're still bombing them. And that part kind of concerns me a little bit. And this is something we also could talk about. Why are we spending so much time bombing the Houthis? I mean, are they that formidable? Are they a superpower of some sort? Because it seems like they're taking the brunt of these attacks from the United States and also Israel. And they still seem to be able to launch missiles. Now, I don't think they're launching missiles at ships in the Red Sea, but they're launching ballistic missiles against Israel. They're still doing that. So and look, and I think any military, I'm a military historian. I'm not up to date on what's going on as far as tactics are going. But sometimes you need to have boots on the ground to really take care of some of this stuff, whether it's special operations or regular forces, because it seems like that the airstrikes are just not enough because they're still able to get something done. That again, that may be a decision that the administration has to take, but that attack needs to happen, period. So I'm not against the action that we're taking against the Houthis. I'm also not against the threats that we're leveling against Iran. And we'll talk about that too, because that's the next shoe that's going to drop. And it's going to happen, period, guys. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of time of when it's going to happen. But again, when you're discussing operational type plans over as I said, over that unsecure app, well, then there's got to be consequences, period. And this is why the title of the show is This Administration Competent? Do they understand what is at stake? Do they understand that there are certain procedures that need to happen to function in your position? I didn't like what I saw with the director of national intelligence. That was not a very good. I didn't like the answers. I didn't like the answers the director of the CIA was given in front of the committees before the Senate and the House. That ain't cutting it, man. That's not cutting mustard, man. I'm sorry, it's not. If you don't know some of these the questions that are being posed to you, well, then maybe you don't need to be in that position. Period. And let's not forget, And I see Graham. What's up, Graham? Me and Graham, man, we've been going back and forth a lot on Twitter talking about this stuff, having some really good discussions. If you want to talk to SecDef, Secretary of Defense, he barely got confirmed. I think it took Vice President Vice President Vance to be able to cast that deciding vote to actually get Hegseth confirmed. I don't know if that guy is qualified to be the Secretary of Defense. I'm just saying. What is his qualifications? Okay, yeah, sure. He was in the Guard. He was a junior commissioned officer. To me, that's not the qualifications you need to be Secretary of Defense. I'm just saying. And he spent most of his time as a TV host. I don't like it. I don't like the selections that they had specifically for some of these national security positions. This is not, look, guys, this is not The Apprentice. And I don't mean to go down that road, but it isn't. This is not The Apprentice. This is not about TV time. It's about national defense. And if you are not understanding what that takes and what it entails, well, then you just need to step aside. And maybe President Trump needs to understand, hey, you need to pick guys who understand what the hell's going on. Period. And blaming the media, come on, that only goes so far, man. That shit's getting old. I'm getting sick and tired of, it's fake news. That reporter sucks. This reporter sucks. Look, I understand the media isn't always honorable as well. There's issues with the media. I'm not going to deny that. But to sit there and continually always blame the media for this, well, guess what? This is not the media to blame. This was transmitted over Signal, and a journalist was sent the link. Period. That's what happened, and they reported on it. There you go. I mean, come on. It's not like it was some freaking conspiracy theory. So they have to understand that. God, it drives me insane. Accountability. Again, that's gonna kind of be the theme of the show today. Accountability. Stop with this undying loyalty. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I know, Rick. I know. I know. It is what it is, man. But anyways, where do we want to go with this? You guys want to talk Greenland? I don't understand what's even going on with that whole thing. All this rhetoric, right? That's being spouted on by both the president and also the administration. I don't quite understand what's going on. All this talk about Canada and Greenland, the European Union. Hey, what's up, Niner? I'm not understanding what is the rhetoric that's this. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you're going after your friends and allies. And look, has the European Union been exactly on the up and up as far as the defense spending? No, they haven't been. And I admit that. And I'm pretty sure everybody else understands. Hey, yeah, there's an issue with defense spending. Well, that's starting to change now. That changed because of what happened with happened there in Ukraine with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Well, then, European countries started getting a little bit wise to the situation. And now, okay, yeah, maybe we need to spend on defense, right? And I get that. But the way that the Trump administration is going after this is just absolutely incredible. Denmark is an ally, right? They're an ally. They're a friend. Why on God's green earth do you want to antagonize a friend? I don't understand it. You don't. They're your friends. Work with them. Talk to them. You don't come out here and start talking about taking over Greenland. Now, a lot of it may be just a lot of talk. Maybe not. I don't know. But why? Why even do that? If you want to be respected as the most powerful country in the world, which we are for now, then treat your friends respectfully, right? And it just what is this fascination of Greenland? We've had a base in Greenland for freaking decades. Thule Air, I don't think it's called Thule anymore. I had friends who were stationed at Greenland when it was called Thule. So we have our footprint there. I'm not understanding what the whole fascination of having Greenland. And the funny thing is, the more that Trump spouts this, the more it gives ammunition to Vladimir Putin. Look what Vladimir Putin's out there saying. He's out there saying, hey, yeah, that's between the United States and Denmark. We're going to have nothing to do that. But if the United States wants to, deal with expanding, quote unquote, their empire, well, then let them have at it. But there's a caveat. Putin is saying that, okay, let United States do whatever they want. But guess what? Let us do what we want in Eastern Europe. Again, this is Cold War revisited. Period. When the Soviet Union took over Eastern Europe, well, they had the sphere of influence in Eastern Europe. We had our sphere of influence in Western Europe. Don't mess in my backyard, and we won't mess in yours. Type of stuff. And it's just weird. It doesn't make any damn sense in why there's such a fascination by this administration in wanting to take over Greenland. It just, I don't get it. Look, is there strategic issues? Sure, I'm sure it is. You're right up there on the damn North Pole. I get it. But like I said, we already have our footprint there. There's no issues, guys. If there was an issue, well, guess what? Denmark's going to take care of it because that's their territory. Again, you're just giving more ammunition to Vladimir Putin. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, though. We could transition into this. These negotiations that are happening to try to end the Russian-Ukrainian war, it's taking a path exactly how I thought it was going to be. Putin is running circles around the Trump administration. Period. They are. This is bad. Here, let's bring up this. This is a fantastic article earlier that I read. If you guys want to take a look at it here, where is it? Here we go. The Carnegie Politica. Author is, where the heck is the author? Gosh dang it. There we go. Is the author. Alexandra Propinko. Okay. Here we go. Byline. Moscow has everything to gain and little to lose from the Black Sea ceasefire. That's the big thing going on right now. The Black Sea ceasefire. Don't attack shipping, blah, blah, blah. Let free traffic or maritime traffic happen between Russia and the rest of the world, blah, blah, blah. Also supposed to be, don't be striking energy infrastructure, all this stuff, okay? Okay, Moscow's attitude is that the Americans need a ceasefire more than Russia does. So let them put in all the effort. This is exactly what is happening, guys. Let's get into this. Bear with me. Talks between Moscow and Washington and Saudi Arabia not only did not result in any breakthrough, they appeared to have been an overall failure. The concluding statement from the White House and the Kremlin suggests that the parties agreed to a moratorium on strikes against energy infrastructure, but it is unclear how compliance will be monitored. In other words, it means nothing. If there's no compliance, well, then it means nothing. United States also announced a ceasefire in the Black Sea, but Russia responded by making it clear that the condition for its commencement would be the lifting of certain sanctions, something Washington cannot achieve on its own. Guys, what has happened? So Russia, one of the conditions Russia wants in implementing a ceasefire is they want these sanctions to be removed, right? They want that money to start trickling back in, and they're leaning on the United States and trying to get that done. Well, guess what? It's not just the United States' decision to lift the sanctions. It also requires approval by the European Union. Again, this is getting into the whole SWIFT account and all this other stuff. I think it talks a little bit about it here in the article. So what you got now is you got President Trump, who's overplayed his hand because he wants to sit there and continue to badmouth the European Union, whether it's Trump himself or whether it is Vice President Vance during the Munich Security Conference, quote unquote, pissing in the backyard of the Europeans. Also during the information that was leaked over those text messages that were happening. Vice President Vance was even wondering whether or not they should attack the Houthis because it's going to help the Europeans, which is absolutely asinine. I can't even understand how that is even being thought about. But yeah, you're sitting there, you're pissing off the European Union. The way that you treated Zelensky in the Oval Office, again, that's pissed off a lot of European unions. As a matter of fact, it has coalesced many of the European countries to back Zelensky. But you need help with the European Union to lift those sanctions. Guess what? Well, you think you're going to get cooperation from any of the European countries? No, you're not, because you done pissed them off. Trump doesn't understand what he's doing here. He wants to talk a big game, but then doesn't understand what to move forward in some of these situations. Well, you're going to need help with the European Union. You're going to need some help with some friends, right? So it's asinine, the direction that the administration has taken as far as their foreign policy is concerned. The agreements do not look like a real prologue to peace. The Kremlin is making it clear that it is first and foremost Trump who needs a quick ceasefire, which means that Putin is in a strong position and can dictate terms. If they are fulfilled, great. If not, and a ceasefire breaks down, then it's hardly critical for Russia. In Putin's logic, Trump has painted himself into a corner. It's the U.S. president who has a month to either unveil a ceasefire or find a scapegoat for its failure. And who do you think that scapegoat is going to be? Who do you think that let's pull the room here. Who do you think the scapegoat is going to be if President Trump cannot get his ceasefire? Anyone want to take a guess? Who will be the scapegoat? And then I'll keep reading. If anyone answers it right away, well, then that's great. If not, I'll just keep reading. Who do you think will be the scapegoat if Trump cannot get his ceasefire that he is absolutely wanting? And he's willing to sacrifice anything and everything to get the ceasefire. It's not going to be Zelensky, and it's not going to be Biden, and it's not going to be Ukraine. You know who it's going to be? It's going to be the European Union, period. That's who it's going to be. He's going to go after the European Union and say, oh, because you didn't lift the sanctions, Putin wouldn't commence with the ceasefire. Well, then, and they don't want peace. They just want to keep fighting. That's what's going to happen, period. That's what's going to happen. And it's ridiculous. It's just, it has no basis for any type of satisfactory answer. Following the latest rounds of talks in Riyadh, the White House issued two separate communiques. One on the outcome of the talks with Russia, and the second on the outcome of the talks with Ukraine. The content of the two texts is the same. Each states that the parties agreed to return to safe navigation, eliminate the use of force, and not use commercial vessels for military purposes in the Black Sea. Documents also state that the parties agreed to develop measures to ensure compliance with the moratorium on strikes against energy facilities and, in general, to continue working toward achieving a durable, lasting peace. Finally, Washington commits to help restore Russia's access to the world market for agricultural and fertilizer exports. In the Kremlin statement that followed, Russia said that it would agree to a Black Sea ceasefire, but only if a number of conditions were met. First of all, the West must lift sanctions against, I'm not going to even get it, Rosokhozbank, the state-owned Russian agricultural bank, and reconnect it and other Russian banks involved in the food trade to the SWIFT international payment system. Okay. Moscow is also demanding to lift a whole host of other restrictions and sanctions. Okay. This kaleidoscope of divergent positions was then completed by Kiev in its own summary of negotiations. Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov and President Volodymyr Zelensky comments suggested that Ukraine knew nothing about Russia's condition that sanctions should be lifted. Accordingly, as far as Kiev is concerned, the ceasefire in the Black Sea is already in effect and applies not only to ships, but also to ports. The moratorium on strikes against energy facilities, according to the Ukrainian side, has been in effect since March 25th, while the Russian version dates back to March 18th. Okay, now we're going to get into all this Russia exported fertilizer, $15 billion worth, $4 billion of it going to Brazil, 2.6 to India, 2.2 to European Union. Look at that, United States spent 1.6 billion on some Russian fertilizer. Okay, they're just getting into the weeds about the agricultural exports, imports. All right. Here it is. In other words, from a practical point of view, it is now far more important for Moscow to get restrictions lifted on access to Western financial infrastructure, insurance, logistics, and payment systems. And the main requirement in this respect is still lifting the restrictions against the Agricultural Bank of Russia. All right. Okay, here we go. Certainly, a return to that deal could always be an opportunity for Trump to announce that. Okay, hold on. Let me get back here. Still, Moscow is making these numerous demands to test how far Washington is willing to go for a symbolic return to the Black Sea grain deal, which in its time itself gave rise to hopes that peace was within reach. Certainly, a return to that deal, again, talking about the Black Sea grain deal, could be a good opportunity for Trump to announce the first significant success in ending the war in Ukraine. But for that to happen, the new Trump administration would have to put some serious pressure on Europe, without which a complete lifting of sanctions is impossible. And again, I'm going to go back to this because President Trump, hey, what's up, Benji? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying opening day, man. Okay. So if you're going to try to get the cooperation of the European Union, well, guess what? Pissing them off is not going to help. Just saying. If you want the help of the European Union to be able to go forward with your little peace deal, to make yourself look good, look, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit later, well, then you need help from the European Union. If you think that America could do this all on its own, unilaterally, if you think the United States can unilaterally figure this out with Russia, well, you're mistaken. There's a lot of players at stake here, and it's not just between Russia and the United States. And I think President Trump has miscalculated. Okay. Again, need help with Europe lifting the sanctions. Washington would have to exert even more pressure on Ukraine since the current version of the agreements, which does not include a moratorium on attacks on Ukrainian ports, does not give Kiev anything. That's nothing new. Moscow, meanwhile, is only required to make symbolic concessions in exchange for what would be, if implemented, a major compromise by Washington on the sanctions issue. Even if Moscow demands are not met, the situation is still in Russia's favor. By constantly naming new conditions and dragging out the negotiations, the Kremlin is ensuring that it remains in contact with the United States for as long as possible and retains the attention of the fickle Trump. If a ceasefire were to be reached, the U.S. president could be distracted by something else, which would not suit Putin at all. Accordingly, the Kremlin is trying to keep Washington's focus on it for as long as possible. In an ideal world, Moscow would like to completely separate Russia's relations with the United States from the issue of Ukraine, diversifying the relationship with joint economic projects, cooperation in the Middle East and space, and negotiations on strategic stability. So in other words, guys, Putin is playing the long game. He knows exactly what it's going to take to get what he wants. And unfortunately, President Trump is falling right into the trap. That is the problem. Because it seems that Trump doesn't, again, from his statements and from the actions that are occurring, it does not look like he is. I don't know what the strategy is, but it's definitely based on emotion lots of times, right? Let's for example, the blow up in the Oval Office, right, with Zelensky. Well, shortly thereafter, all of a sudden, you stop sharing intelligence with the Ukrainians and you stopped military equipment shipments. Again, because he got pissed off, not realizing how it's gonna affect the geopolitical situation on the ground in Ukraine and Russia. Putin knows exactly how to interact with President Trump. Putin is a master at this. He's done this with every single American president that has been in office since he's been in office. Remember, he's been in office for 25 years, except for that one stint of about 4 years when Medvedev, his lapdog, was quote unquote president and he was foreign minister, right? Sure. But I mean, this is no joke, guys. You're witnessing firsthand how a master strategist is getting over on a president of the United States. All right, let's keep going, and we can get more into this. Putin, for his part, was prepared to keep waging war against Ukraine, regardless of who won the U.S. presidential election. As far as he's concerned, therefore, Trump needs a ceasefire more than he does. Moscow's attitude is, if the Americans need it more, then let them put in all the effort. There you go. Kind of sums it up. Of what's going on out there, guys. If you continue to cater to Russian demands, this is not going to end well. I'm sorry, but it isn't. It's absolutely amazing. NATO was formed in 1949, right? The Iron Wall, or the Iron Curtain, right? The speech of the Iron Curtain. That was a speech given by Churchill back in 1947. Okay. Ever since then, the Soviet Union / Russia has been trying to do everything in its power to dissolve NATO. They have done everything they can to try to splinter the relationship between the United States and European countries. Okay. And it's been holding strong for quite a while. Right? We've it's the alliance has been tested a couple of times, right? There's always been, look, you're gonna have disagreements with friends. It just happens, guys. That happens. If you have disagreements with friends and allies, well, you figure it out. Yeah, you may be on the out and out, right, for a little while, but then you guys you come together again. But you don't let the enemy take advantage of that. And that's exactly what happened. And look, within 2 months of Trump's second term, he has managed to destroy what has been standing since 1949. In 2 months. I've never seen such animosity between Europe and the United States in my lifetime. I could be missing something here, guys, but I don't think it's ever been on the outs as bad as it has been currently. President Trump a couple of days ago talked about implementing some more tariffs against the European Union on automobile. What is it? 25% tariff on all automobiles not made in the United States. How many automobiles are made in the United States, right? Come on. But I don't understand what all these look, guys, these tariffs are not going to work. Yes, I am, Ibrahim. Yes, Ibrahim. What's up, man? I'm not understanding. You're gonna look. The economy right now it's rocky. The economy is rocky. I've seen there's people talking about a possible recession, right? Well, I'll tell you what. You keep implementing these tariffs, and you are guaranteeing a recession to kick in. Tariffs are. Hey, what's up, PMG? Haven't seen you in a minute. Tank the economy, swallow up the assets on the cheap. Ah, there you go. It just doesn't make sense, man. I'm frustrated. Frustrated. For those of you who have been following me on Twitter, I think you guys have probably seen my frustration. I've been pretty vocal, if that's a word that you want to use that's on Twitter. I've been pretty vocal with words on Twitter. What's up, senior? No, you're absolutely, Braden, you're correct. The economy wasn't doing well under Biden. And I've mentioned that many a times. But he's not helping. Tariffs are not going to help. I'll tell you that right now. And let's not forget, Braden, it was Trump who injected $3 trillion worth of government money when COVID hit. That's a fact. In 2020, he injected, they decided to shut down the entire freaking country. And that was under Trump. It began under Trump. Did Biden help? No, he did not. He injected another $1.5 trillion during COVID. So, well, I'm just saying, if we got to be honest, guys. And what's happening is what Trump is trying to do. If he thinks that he could do what he did during his first term, it's not going to work here in the second term. It's a much different world. I think I said that in the last show. This is not the same world here in 2025 than it was when he was elected in 2026. And it certainly wasn't the same as it was when he left office in 2021. It's the issues I have, and again, I stick primarily to the foreign affairs stuff. All right. The reason why I bring up tariffs is because it does affect the country. Are you becoming isolationist? You know, I hear a lot of America first, and I get it. I understand America first. But there's also a such thing as, having no friends. And if you keep pissing off your friends and shit hits the fan, you know, I don't know what to tell you. He is undoing relationships that have been built up for, well, I see what Ibrahim, he's talking about will take decades is a good number of the relationship that were built over the years, man. And it's just being thrown away. I don't quite understand it. It's going to be scary. I'm concerned. What's going on. Cold, not too keen on the foreign. That's fine. That's what I stick with. I'm not going to get into the domestic stuff, man. I'm just not. Now we got stuff that's going to be kicking off in Iran. It's going to happen, guys. I don't know if you guys know. United States have positioned B-2 bombers in Diego Garcia. Where is Diego Garcia? I brought it up on the map before, and I'll show you exactly where Diego Garcia is. Out in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Okay, let me find it. No, it's out here in the middle of nowhere. I'll find it. Here, I'll share the screen. You guys could help me find. Are we out here? Is this it? That's it. Diego Garcia. Okay, here we go. So what does this mean? Okay, DA out in the middle of nowhere, okay? Literally out in the middle of nowhere. I had friends that were stationed out here during the Gulf War. What is normally stationed out here? Bombers. Right. That's where we keep our strategic bombers. During the Gulf War, they had B-1 bombers out there. They had also B-52s as well. Matter of fact, a B-1 had to land on the runway with wheels up. Oops. I think it was an accident, to be honest with you. I think they forgot to drop the gear, and they landed belly up on that runway at Diego Garcia. But yes, so this is a strategic location. This is where you're going to position specific aircraft if you want to, particularly, maybe hit a target. It's coming, guys. I think it's coming, and it's going to be coming soon. Iran is trying to speed up their ability to develop a nuclear weapon, and that cannot happen. And it doesn't look like they're slowing down. So it's only a matter of time before Iran starts getting lit up. I see it happening, man. You don't position aircraft out here if you're not ready to do something. You know, usually if it's a show of force, okay, yeah, they'll put a couple of, I mean, 1 or 2 bombers. But from everyone from what I've been reading, they're talking about there's 7 B-2s stationed at Diego Garcia. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. What's up, Paul? No, did not agree with that selection either. Neither candidates met my criteria to be president of the United States, period. Yep. Telling you. Neither of them. Just because I don't like what Trump is doing doesn't mean I like what Biden was doing, or that I would have liked what Kamala Harris would have done. I would have been disagreeing. Look, for those of you who have been on my show or has been in the chat, I got after Biden just as much as I've gotten after Trump. Period. If I feel like they're not going in the right direction, I'm going to let it be known. Just saying. This is definitely this is a definite shift in foreign policy. Oh, that's great. You know what? I'm not going to get into this because this is not a time for baseball, but I'm doing better on Vince's than freaking Giant Sports Live tonight. Tonight was a rough day, but I didn't have a whole lot of guys going either. Had a few. Jeez, that's horrible. Horrible. But it's early. Anyways. Mookie, huh? Well, there you go. They walked it up. It was a grand slam. Oh, wow. Oh, no. Second homer again. Gotcha. Never mind. Wow. Anyways. What do we want to get into? Everything is changing. Yes, it is. And not for the better either, Paul. Brandon, I was kind of talking about the Greenland stuff earlier. It doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Brandon, we've had a base at Greenland for decades. Decades. We've had a base there. So we're over, our footprint is there. What else do you need? I don't understand. You're just all you're doing is you're pissing off an ally rather than working with the ally. If Trump has a true concern about the security of Greenland, well, guess what? You go talk to the leader of Denmark and you figure out a plan. Thanks, Benji. I did. I'm not meaning to toot my own horn, but yes, I did say I anticipated that the foreign affairs stuff was going to get a little bit sideways. And it doesn't make any sense of what the United States, and then on top of that, you want to send the vice president to Greenland, right? And what did the vice president do? He stayed on the base. That's all he did. Did he go talk to the government of Greenland? No. You know why he didn't go talk to the government of Greenland? Because he done pissed him off. He done pissed him off. You piss off your friends, well, they're not going to welcome you. And that's exactly what happened. He goes to Greenland, spends about 4 hours on the ground just on the US base, and then he flies back. You know what that looks like? You look like a chump. It makes the United States look weak. Okay, so I'm going to fly to Greenland, but I'm just going to hang around the base, but I'm not going to interact with the government. Give me a break, man. You want to talk about looking bad? I tell you what, if you actually talked to the people of Greenland, if you talked to Denmark, maybe that situation could have been different. Maybe the vice president could have met with the leadership of Greenland. Maybe Vice President Vance could have met with the leadership of Denmark, and they could have shook hands, smiled for the cameras, and work out a deal. I thought that's what Trump was all about, working out deals, right? I keep hearing the guy can negotiate anything. Well, it doesn't seem like he's negotiating this very well. It absolutely, it was dumb. No, that wasn't the point of the visit, Paul. He didn't meet with any of the officials from Greenland. He stayed on the base. They were supposed to have meetings with Greenland. There were supposed to be speeches. Everybody canceled on him. They didn't want Vice President Vance to show up because they couldn't stand the rhetoric that was being spouted by the administration. It's just, it's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. Absolutely dumb. Cole says he has respect for JD Vance. Okay, that's fine. Hey, if you like him as a person, that's fine. But as a vice president, I'm not impressed. He didn't need to spout off in the Oval Office. He didn't need to, as I say, piss in the backyard of the European Union during the Munich Security Conference. He didn't need to badmouth Europe on the unauthorized chat app. It just, I'm not impressed with him as vice president. Just ain't. Might be a great guy. Might be a fantastic guy. But as far as the job he's doing, I'm not liking it. Not liking it. Just saying. Vance, and here's the problem. And for those of you who was not in the beginning of the show, this is not meant to insult anyone's intelligence about who they support or who they don't support. I am telling you how I feel as far as what is being said and what is being done by this administration. I will not in any way, shape, or form, just because he is an elected official that happens to represent my party, I just don't arbitrarily go, you know what? Because he's a Republican, I am going to vote or I'm going to support everything that he does. I don't do that. That's not who I am, and I won't do that. I will never do that. Trump and Vance already had a problem with the leadership of Denmark because of underinvestment and a security architecture. I understand. Look, Braden, I understand Europe has had an issue with spending money on security. I get it. I get it, man. 100%. And I said that. And I said they need to spend more. 100%. Europe needs to spend more on defense. Period. Period. But that does not mean this is the type of direction that you take. You be a statesman. Come on, right? Is it that hard? Is it that hard to sit there? Look, you got all the power in the world. Invite the leader of Denmark, the leader of Greenland to the Oval Office. You have discussions. You fly to their country. You have discussions. You don't go out there and say, you know what? We're going to take over Greenland. And I don't give a shit about what you say. No, that's not how it's done. I'm sorry. This is not New York real estate business, man. This is talking about being the leader of the most powerful country in the world. And you got to respect the leaders of other countries. They're your friends. They're not your enemies. And the problem I'm having now is he is bending over backwards for Putin in Russia than he is with the leaders of the European Union. And I don't understand that. That does not compute with me. And don't give me this talk about this reverse Kissinger bullshit, because that's not what's happening, man. This is not reverse Kissinger. This is kissing the ass of Putin. That's exactly what's going on. And it's despicable. Tell me one thing that the United States has demanded Russia to do in all these negotiations. Have they asked them to do anything? It's just, there's something wrong, guys. There's something wrong, and it has to be fixed. You got the National Security Advisor, Waltz. Man, I mean, good God. I mean, I guess he was the one that invited, I can't remember his first name, Goldberg, the reporter from The Atlantic. He invited him to that chat, right? Has no idea what the hell he's talking about. You got Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, right? Or no, DNI. Yeah, Director of National Intelligence. Not knowing anything about the job, had no idea where she was located when those meetings were transpiring, because again, they're concerned that she was in another country accessing this app where it could have been broken into. You had Witkoff, who was meeting with with President Putin during that time. You got the Secretary of Defense, who doesn't really know what's going on here. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm not liking this. I don't like the construction of this cabinet. And again, I've said this before, it seems like he is just hiring people, or selecting people, I should say, that just do his bidding without question. Are they subject matter experts? Would you say Pete Hegseth is a subject matter expert in being Secretary of Defense? Is Tulsi Gabbard an expert in being Director of National Intelligence? Is Mike Waltz qualified to be the National Security Advisor? I don't know, man. It seems a little bit weird. That's all I'm saying, and I don't like it. Yeah, there you go. I don't like the direction that we're taking as a nation with our friends and allies. I don't. And one thing that's happening, though, is the European Union is coming together. They're coming together in a big way, which is good. I mean, that's fantastic, because I think Zelensky needs that support. If he wants to fight Russia, he needs that support. Hey, you know that? It reminds me of somebody. You know who said that, right? Paul, you know who said that, correct? You can please some people some of the time. Then in what is it? What is it? Please some of them half the time, people at half the time, but you can't please people all the time. Who said that? Can you guess? Take a guess. Anyways, you can never please Democrats unless you're taxing. Oh, well, look, and I'll tell you one thing. Democrats, they suck too. Come on, let's be honest here. Let's. Is anybody happy with Congress? Probably not. But let's talk about this, Paul. You're going to be paying a tax with these tariffs. Your goods are going to go through the roof with the tariffs, period. And that's just as bad as a tax. You know, I hear Trump touting about making trillions of dollars off of tariffs. You know where those trillions of dollars are coming from, Paul? American taxpayer. Anyone that is out there buying goods is being taxed because of those tariffs. Yes, it was Abraham Lincoln. 100% Abraham Lincoln. Good job, Paul. Yes, Braden, Putin is dragging his feet on purpose. There's a reason why. Because he's getting over. Putin's getting over, man. He sees what's going on. It made no sense whatsoever for President Trump to go out there and have all these concessions for Russia. It made no sense. You're bending over backwards for Vladimir Putin. God, he was in the Oval Office and said Putin wanted peace. Tell me where you tell me where President Putin wanted peace at all. For President Trump to come out and say that President Putin wants peace. What gave him? Tell me what gave him that idea that that's what Putin wanted? Did Putin tell him that? Did Putin say, "Yeah, I really wanted peace"? Okay, Vlad. Yeah, that's right. I'll let the American people know you said that you want peace. It's stupid. Why would you do that? You make yourself just look dumb. You lose credibility. You got President Putin, and let's not forget President Xi Jinping in China. And I kind of illustrated that with a thumbnail. They're sitting in the back laughing because this is dumb. Trump is trying to run the U.S. as a business. Yeah, but that's not going to work. Running the United States is not a real estate business. And we can all agree before the Dems in China released the man-made. Oh, I got you what you're saying. No, absolutely. Yeah. The economy was doing fantastic until the virus hit. I get it. Absolutely, Braden. 100%. 100%. Country was doing fantastic. Well, guess what? Shit happened and you got to adapt. You have to. You have to adapt. Peace will come. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And the funny thing is, the President Trump talks about peace, but yeah, he's really going after them Houthis. He's ready to get after Iran. And I agree with both of them, by the way. But it's not exactly being peaceful, right? It already worked. What worked? Braden, you got to talk to me, man. What worked? You're telling me peace? You're saying there's peace, man? Come on. Come on, Braden. You're not saying there's peace, right? You're not saying there's peace. Come on. You're not saying that, right? What happened under Biden? I don't know. No, don't call names. What? I don't understand what you mean, Braden. Trying to figure out what you're trying to say here. You said him running the U.S. as a business wouldn't work. Well, no, it was a different world then. Different world then, Braden. And he really wasn't running it like a business. Braden, look who was in his cabinet. He had people who understood the position that they were taking. Guys like H.R. McMaster. General Mattis, John Bolton, Mike Pompeo. Okay. So he had a cabinet who knew what they were doing. Again, I'm speaking just on foreign policy. His foreign policy in his second term has been absolute dog shit, Braden. It just has. Period. Checking news here. All I keep seeing is freaking Mookie's freaking home run. It's killing me. Come on. Okay, I don't care about that. Anyways, what do we got here? Let's see. Tom and Cole, I like that. No, I get Braden. I get you, dude. I agree with you. Biden didn't do shit either. I agree. Braden, I 100% agree. Biden didn't do shit for 4 years. And yes, it's been 2 months and Trump has destroyed so many relationships in those 2 months. That's the problem I have. And I'm talking specifically about our standing amongst the world, our foreign relations. Because that's important. Yes, Trump was elected on America first. I get it. But you know what? There's a lot of things happening out there in the world that if he doesn't understand what's happening and he doesn't choose the right direction, we could be in a world of hurt. Period. Period. Oh, jeez. What the frick did he do today? You're going to done piss me off now, man. I'm going to have to shop him off. 2 points! Oh my God, Tucker. He did have a stolen. Oh, he got me 2. He got me 2 points. Profar got me 2 points. Who the hell freaking screwed it up for me? Diaz, Keith. Brother. On Vince's league, though, did pretty good. 40 points on Vince's league. There we go. All right. Enough of that. Oh, hey, talk to me. Talk to me, senior. Anyways. Ooh. I don't know what that means. Restart shipboard in some. I don't know what that is. Jay, I don't know what that is, man. What is shipboard in Solano County? Not following you. Yeah, Cole, I kind of talked about that. I don't like his selections. I don't. Do not like him, man. As far as national security and Secretary of Defense and that type of stuff, yeah, don't care for it, man. Yeah, Rick, you're kind of on to that. It wasn't as bad as it is now, but it's a lot worse. It was a little rocky the first time. I get it. Oh, shipbuilding. Really? That's going to be huge. Hey, that's one thing that the United States has fallen by the wayside. Shipbuilding. That's a story for another day when we get When we start talking about what's going to happen in China, or I should say Taiwan, it's happening, guys. It's going to happen. And it's not going to stop with Taiwan, guys. And I hope you guys understand that. It's gonna consume of Taiwan and the South China Sea. Hopefully nothing else. It's gonna get ugly. And if you don't have the people in your administration to understand that and to plan for that, oh boy. Oh yeah, see, I used to like Victor Hansen, Aaron. I've seen some of his stuff lately. I'm kind of like, wow, interesting. Interesting. I guess they had the better aircraft. Check my Twitter. Here, hold on. Where the heck did I put it? What did I do? It was a reply. So there we go. Go check this out. Give him a follow, Niner. Niner, do you got Twitter? I know, Ibrahim. Right? Exactly. So, Niner, if you have Twitter, follow me, Master History 21 or 23. And I have replied to this. It's pretty. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Get rid of that. And there you go. There is the link, Niner. If you look at that link, they break down the new generation air dominance fighter pretty damn good. Go check out that link. You will get a lot of information on that. It's pretty interesting, Niner. Very, very interesting on what they're going to do with this platform. And they kind of talk about how the competition went between Boeing and Lockheed. Let's see what else we got out there, guys. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, that Graham. Supposedly Pete Hegseth hired his brother. Little nepotism going on, huh? Yeah, the FA, the fighter attack aircraft, that's still coming there, Niner. Yes, that is correct. That is the next generation aircraft for the Navy and Marines. No, you're 100% PMG. Yes, you know we talk about asymmetric warfare, correct? That's part of it. You know, asymmetric warfare just isn't about hunting terrorists or terrorist actions. It also involves stock markets, cyber attacks, what is you want to call that? The fifth column, right? Call that the fifth column. I'm telling you, man, there is other ways that you could put a hurting on a country rather than firing a bullet. You're 100% correct, man. Absolutely correct. Graham, no one needs to nuke the stock market. Trump's already doing that on his very own. That's the truth. Yes, sir. Scary, man. I tell you. With everything becoming digitized, PMG, it's just that much easier. Well, you saw that. What was it, about a month ago, right? Supposedly China hacked a whole bunch of, what did they hack? It was civilian infrastructure stuff. I can't remember what it was. Gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head. but they hacked a whole bunch of different type of stuff here in the country. You could absolutely, Abraham. Yeah, PMG, Abraham, absolutely. There's no joke about that. If you don't have a robust security, digital security, again, it's going to be, look, when the Taiwan shoe falls, it's going to involve, it's just not going to be kinetic. As you say, PMG, it's not going to be kinetic. It's going to involve a lot of different things. Crazy times we're living in, gentlemen. It will get worse before it gets well. That's true, Braden. Look, there could always could always turn out for the better, right? I just don't like the direction we're going in. That's all I'm saying. I hope it changes. I hope there's a voice in the room that makes sense of everything that's going on. Because right now, Trump, I don't know if he's being advised by his advisors or if this is just all on his own. He needs some help, to be honest with you. He does. He needs some damn help. And I don't know. The Department of Government Efficiency. I'm not going to get into that. That's all domestic stuff. I'm not going to get into that. I'll tell you one thing. Is government bloated? Yes. Is there fat that needs to be trimmed? Yes. Is there friendly fire happening? Or is there people being eliminated that shouldn't be eliminated? Yes. It's not perfect. I'll tell you that. It's not perfect. That's the problem, Rick. He has no humility. He thinks he knows everything and he won't ask. I mean, he says some of the most outrageous things, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Earlier today, he just found out that Iran was sending drones to Russia. What? What? What are you talking about? They've been doing that for freaking the last 3 years. Yes, senior. I'm okay with Doge, but let's see the receipts / the fraud. Full transparency. I wish it was bipartisan. I agree with that. It should be. 100%. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I think everyone would agree with that. Get rid of the waste. Period. But again, you got to be transparent. If you're not transparent, well, then you leave yourself open to people questioning what the hell you're doing. You have to be transparent in that. It just can't just be secret squirrel behind your back type of stuff. Right? Okay, we'll see. Why isn't bipartisan? Because no one can get along with each other. Republicans don't want to get along with Democrats. Democrats don't want to get along with the Republicans. That's just, it's bad. It's toxic. It's so toxic that they can't do their damn jobs. Thanks, Val. Yeah, let's talk about it. I talked a little bit about it. Let's go to there. Matter of fact, let's see. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find something here. No, different. There was something. Where did I? Gosh, this pissing me off. Okay, not there. I just want to try to find something. Ooh, what was this? Iran's going to kick off. There's no doubt about it. I'm just trying to find some information. No, not that one. That's China. Not that. Houthis. No. Where did I see it? And then after this, I'm going to get out of here. Come on. No, where was it? I don't want the Houthis. I don't care about the Houthis. I thought there was something in with the Iran stuff. A bunch of Greenland stuff. Come on, don't care about that. We already went over that. Well, here, let's just listen to this here. You want to talk about Iran? Here, let's hear what the president has to say about Iran. Let's take a listen.
Iran is very high on my list of things to watch, and as you probably know, I sent them a letter just recently, and I said you're going to have to make a decision one way or the other, and we're going to either have to talk it out, or very bad things are going to happen to Iran, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. My big preference, and I don't say this through strength or weakness, my big preference is we work it out with Iran. But if we don't work it out, bad things are going to happen to Iran. Iran is...
Okay, well, there you go. From the president. Very bad things are going to happen in Iran if they don't decide to come to the table, so to speak. Okay? Now, I agree with him on this, guys. I agree with him on this. Iran needs to be handled. Period. They have to be handled one way or another. If they don't decide to come to the table and make the correct decision on nuclear weapons, well, then we're going to have to take matters into our hands, because you absolutely cannot allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. Look what they've done. I mean, they are the leading country in promoting terrorism across the world. I mean, just look what's going on. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, sending drones to Russia to fight Ukraine. I think they've sent the ballistic missiles as well. Look, That regime needs to be handled. There's no doubt about it. And the way it looks like the arm is getting cocked back, man. That's what it looks like. Thanks, Aaron. But what's going to happen? Right on, Aaron. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you hanging out, buddy. Kamani turns 86. Yeah. But you know there's someone right behind him to fill that void. Yeah, Biden sends some. Yeah. I know, but Jay, I know, man. I didn't like it. Period. So, yes, that is good. To answer your question, Ibrahim, it looks like something's going to happen. And when I mean by something, and I said this word before, something kinetic is going to happen. There's no doubt about it. You don't put 7 B2s in Diego Garcia just for the hell of it. They're getting ready to plan something. And I think the administration knows that Iran is not going to want to come to the table. And you're going to see a lot of secondary explosions. All right, Cole, man. Have a good one, man. Enjoy your weekend. I know this is Friday, man. Graham's busting out the grand strategy. Are you talking about the Edward Earl grand strategy, Graham, or are you talking about the British grand strategy? Not necessarily long term. It's just about how it needs to be played out. And a lot of that grand strategy, guys, consists of a certain part of the world, if you notice. I'm reading an interesting book, guys. And it is important. I think it's people of Hick. Brzezinski, the former national security advisor to what's his name? Carter, right? He had an interesting paper talking about that certain area of the world. What's up, Dan? How's it going, dude? Hold on. See, I need to do something here. Hold on, let me find. Gotta do some more Googling. Man, I didn't mean to go this damn long, guys. Here you go. You want to do some grand strategy? We'll do some grand strategy. Here we go. The War Room. Again, this is a website from the Army War College.edu. Grand strategy, a short guide for military strategists. The idea of the grand strategy that is so important to national security must also be important to military professionals. For decades, the security studies community had argued that America needs a real or new or at least a good grand strategy, and the debate showed no signs of slowing down. The idea of a grand strategy is so important to national security must also be important to military professionals. But before military strategists can do their work within the context of grand strategy, they should be clear about what the term grand strategy means. Okay? The earlier meaning of the grand strategy focused on the overall national and coalition approach to winning a specific war. You see that, Braden, Paul? That's all you need to know right there. That's all you need to know. Focused on overall national and coalition approach to winning a specific war. Then we're going to go through the history of Civil War, the new grand strategy. The second meaning of goes beyond war, becoming akin to overall security policy. This meaning, which became common after World War II, differed from but originated from Liddell Hart, pointed toward the change of emphasizing that wartime grand strategy also involves the prolongation of that policy through the war into the subsequent peace. Edward Mead, Earl, the makers of modern strategy. The scale and complexity of modern industrialized war required grand strategy as not merely a concept of wartime, but an inherent element of statecraft at all times. For historians, this newer version of grand strategy entailed studying and evaluating examples of the capacity of a nation's leaders to bring together all elements, both military and non-military, for the preservation and enhancement of the nation's long-term, that is in wartime and peacetime, best interest. Those examples tend to be a mix of older and newer definition, grand strategies in specific wars, and grand strategies guiding peace and war policies. Grand strategy is a polity of theory about how to provide its security and prosperity all the time in peace and war. When making important foreign and military policies, Australia's leaders try to balance their interests with American interests, which makes for hard decisions. Yes. Again, that could also be used in relation to what's going on in Europe as well. American grand strategy, starting with the Monroe Doctrine, talking about the hemisphere. American policy making has been driven by preserving the Western hemispheric autonomy from external great power influence. 2, American policy making has sought free sea, air, and increasingly cyber and space lanes of commerce, preferably for everybody, but at a minimum for Americans. American policymaking has maintained freedom of decision-making and action, originally by acting unilaterally in the world. The United States has increasingly worked with friendly and like-minded powers, but also exclusively in coalitions and alliances where the United States is the lead or where the agreements are not so binding as to challenge American sovereignty. When the United States has militarily intervened in foreign lands, whatever the cause, the policy for post-intervention conditions in those lands has tended heavily toward reinstituting or in placing a more liberal and democratic system of government, regardless of difficulty. All right. So there you go. There you go. Grand strategy. Problem is, those alliances are kind of falling by the wayside. Hopefully not to the point where it's not repairable. Yeehaw. There you go. A little bit of grand strategy. There is a lot of stuff written on that. There are so many guys. There are so many books written by so many different people. Yeah, I've been in Europe as well. Got the chance to live there for 3 years. Enjoyed it. You bet, Paul. No problem. There's a lot to this, guys. I mean, it's there again. A lot of it is trial and error. Trial and error throughout the history. And hopefully we learn from those quote unquote errors so that we can make the right decision next time. That's the key. And there you go. LD. You kind of, if you start there, you're working well. Don't trust any politician. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that it's come to that, really, right? And it's, I just don't want to put the, how do I want to explain it? I just don't want to, I don't support a politician in everything that the person does just because of the party. I've said this before. LD, I don't think you were here before. Just because say I'm a Republican, I'm not going to vote or I'm not going to support a Republican if I feel he's not making the right decision because of the party. I don't put party above what I think is the correct way to go. Period. And you're correct. They have a self-serving angle. 100% LD. There's no doubt about it. There has to be a change in the body politic, right? Exactly, Graham. 100%. 100%. You guys are having a lively debate in there. What's up, Adi? What is up? All right, guys. I think I know you guys some of you just showed up, but I think I'm getting ready to get. Actually, I'll tell you what. Give me a minute. All right, I'm back. What do we got here? What do we got here? What are you guys talking about? Paul. No. Oh, man. Yeah, LD, you're correct. That is true. All right, where do you guys want to go now? Because I'll go a few more minutes here and then I'm going to get out of here, guys. Trying to think. Man, I do like talking about those big topics, grand strategy, all that stuff. I did a show earlier. You guys look in the past. I did a show on Karl von Clausewitz. Man, dude, talking about the paradoxal trinity. That was good stuff. And honestly, it still holds true today. No, Braden, you're all good, dude. Dude, you're entitled to your opinion, man. I'm not gonna get after you. I'm gonna bring facts as far as what I think, of what he is saying and what he has done, right? And it's okay. It's okay to disagree, right? I'm not gonna think of you any less. Not at all, man. It's all about just throwing out what I see, what I know. I kind of want to share it with you guys. Right? I just want to be able to share everything that I have so you guys can be a little bit more understanding on where I'm coming from and what's kind of going on out there, guys. Oh, dude. Braden. Yes, sir. It's going to be interesting. Real quick, I'll divert just a little bit here. Verlander, that's going to be an interesting start tomorrow. Let's see how he does there in Cincinnati. Yeah, I do need to do a show on China, 100%, man. That's getting really, really weird. That's again. Ugh. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, PMG. I'm seeing what you're saying there. I'm not sure of what that's all about, to be honest with you. Government unions. They're powerful, by the way. They're powerful. I've worked with a bunch of civilians when I was in the Air Force, man. And those guys, man, they freaking, whoo. It literally takes an act of Congress to get those guys fired. Now, I don't know if it's the same as it was in the past, but yeah. Whew. War is politics by other means. Look at that. Thank you, Mr. Clausewitz. Yes, sir. Yeah, there's a lot of good people to follow on Twitter about what's going on with China as well. Ian Ellis, that guy is excellent. A lot of good information from Ian. Tom Shergut. I think that's how you say his name. He's a good follow on Twitter. Got a lot of good stuff. Eric, it takes a manager who knows. Well, shit, dude. I'm telling you, I was active duty, and I just I saw what it took. It's civilians get away with freaking murder, dude. And then they use the union, and it's a mess. It was even more so when I was in NATO. I was actually in the NATO unit when I was stationed in Germany. And those NATO civilians, brother, woo! Oh, dude. Those guys freaking, you didn't have to show up for work and you got paid. I mean, I got a hangnail and I got to be out for a month. They're out for a month and they're getting paid, man. It's crazy. Crazy, dude. I don't know if it's the same because I was there from 2007 to 2010. So, yeah. Crazy stuff. All right, guys. If you guys got nothing else to go, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Let me see what we got. Oh, PMG, were you in the, you gotta enlighten me, man. Were you part of the military at all? Either civilian, active duty? You seem very in tune, PMG. Oh, interesting. Okay, right on. You got Twitter or not so much? Right on. Okay. Holy shit, dude. I got to get you on. Are you good for coming on? I can understand that. I can understand that because of your position. I get it. Man, I got to get you on, dude. You could be anonymous. I'd like to hear your side of the things. Look, goes hand in hand, right? Military history, poli sci. It's all hand in hand. To be honest with you, right? War. The study of military history just isn't about battles anymore. You got to talk about social and cultural, and of course, diplomatic, political science. You name it, man. Military history is very all consuming because of just how many different lenses it touches, right? Anonymous PMG, there you go. Yeah, PMG, come on. Like we'll put a black dot over your face. You can alter your voice somehow. Put a fake beard on or something. There you go, PMG. Right on, man. Are you here on the West Coast by chance? Yes, Graham. How complicated Europe is, dude. How far do we gotta go back? Because I mean, goodness gracious, there's right the timeline in Europe. Where do you even begin? You're just gonna have to pick somewhere in the middle and just go from there, man. Dude, I would love to get a nice panel together. Graham, you could come on if you want to. Get Graham and PMG, get a little 3-man freaking panel going. I think that'd be interesting. I think that'd be very interesting. Put the classic Kane mask. Yeah, see, Tom, great idea. I think that'd be awesome. We'll have to figure it out. That would be awesome. It is, Graham, 100%. It's not, dude. There's so many things. I'd be in the tower if I came on. Like I said, man, come on with a damn alias. Just don't show you look. You don't have to look. Look at this. You could turn off your camera and you could still hear me talk, right? You could do that. You could do it this way, and that's perfectly fine. I got no issues with that. But hey, I get it. I get it if you can't do that. I think that would be freaking cool as hell. That's a lot of knowledge on one panel. Excuse me. All right, guys, it's time to get out of here. Guys, tomorrow, see me back on some baseball, guys. I had to clean the palate with some MHC. I cleaned the palate. I had to get some of this stuff off of my chest. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, Master History 23, right over here. Oh, right there. Yeah, you guys can see I interact on there daily. I interact on there a little bit too much, to be honest with you. But yeah, sharing information, dude, I love doing that. I try not to be condescending, so to speak. I'll be a little bit snarky, but yeah, I just like to try to make my point. So anyways, yeah, I like to do this. You guys know how I feel about this stuff. Hopefully next time I could come on, maybe I'll go back to a historical topic, back to some military history. As long as, the current event stuff, come on. I tell you what, President Trump, just take it easy. Stay away from the microphone. Stay away from the cameras for a little bit. Let things cool down. Work behind the scenes. Repair what you have destroyed. And let's get to work. Okay? Come on. Come on. But anyways, yeah. So next time I'll do a military history topic. Like I said, as long as there ain't no current event stuff that's trumping that. Pun intended. Oh God, don't start with that. Why'd you have to say that, PMG? I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, those European countries are still in jobs. I got to slap tariffs. Look, Europe and other countries aren't still in American jobs. The companies are going elsewhere to pay cheaper labor. That's what it is, man. Come on, man. I heard that and I was like, yeah, we're going to get $600 to $1 trillion in 2 years. Damn it, PMG. See, you got me going. Liberate. I couldn't believe when he said that. Liberation Day. Yeah, right. Yeah, when those tariffs hit, stock market's going to take another hit. Absolutely. All right. Anyways, guys, you'll be able to catch me. You catch me on a few channels, man. Of course, Giant Sports Talk Live after every Giants game with a post game. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I'm also on with Marty. Those of you who know Marty Lurie, the guy is freaking awesome with baseball. Make sure you guys go give him a look. For those of you, I think pretty much everyone that's in here knows who Marty is. So I'm on with Marty like once a week. And that's a lot of fun, man. I really enjoy doing that stuff. Good stuff, man. Great baseball conversation. You want to talk about some really good baseball? Yeah, tune into Marty Lurie. The guy is freaking awesome. And it's awesome to be able to work with him. Anyways, guys, we'll see you on the next one. You guys have a good weekend. I think we're getting some rain here in California, or Central California. But guys, be good out there. Just like I said, give me a follow on Twitter. Just man, gets a little bit weird sometimes out there, but try to keep. I hope cooler heads prevail. That's what I hope. Right? Cooler heads prevail. Let's get back on the right track. Hopefully that'll happen. I don't know when it will happen, but goodness gracious, man, let's get some sanity back, please. That's all I ask. Is that so hard to ask? Get a little bit of sanity. Anyways, guys, be good, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.